Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 594. We are live tonight. It is Wednesday, August 28th. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Phil.
Howdy.
And Paul.
I'm glad you give the date. It gives a real alibi to me after I commit my crimes on these nights.
There you go. But only during the certain times, right?
Yeah, when when people freeze, like that's the perfect time to run off and go commit fraud.
Is this what like
as you
Phil's been
unfreeze
doing?
and you're like,
Hey, I'm back. Oh, this is ketchup. That's not funny.
So
could have robbed a hot dog stand.
a hot dog stand?
Yeah, that's fine. That's why he has ketchup on him.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Don't think about it, Lucas. What's the topic? What are we talking about?
So the topic, the posted topic, which I'm sure we will like stray from, several times because the I guess our members in the chat have already pretty much given all the opinions, so we don't even we can go. They've already posted everything. So, but our topic is there is Takara Tomy is getting into the crossover game. Which I guess they've been in before, but I don't know the last time they did a crossover. I'm trying to remember. For
Bump of
Transformers? Is Bump of Chicken the last one? It's been a minute. See, this is the stuff that we need Peter on the show for, so because he could just roll it off, or even Christian, but we don't, and I didn't think about it till right now, and whatever. So anyway.
Well, hey, way to make us feel inadequate, Lucas. Just it's like, hey, Paul and Phil, you guys suck, and we wish Christian and Peter were here, but whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. This is the way it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here, so we can see what they're talking about. This, so there is a Godzilla crossover reveal that happened. No, we're talking about Godzilla, not God Bomber.
Oh,
jeez.
okay. Are we going to talk about God Bomber?
Yeah, like later.
Oh, okay.
I mean, do you want to talk about it now? Do you want to switch it up? And
no, I'm messing around.
It's all just Japanese stuff we're really talking about, so it all fits.
That's true.
We got all these comments about the Godzilla and how horrible it is and all that. So, all right.
Well,
so, what? Yes?
Yeah, well, I was just going to get into it, but if you were going to provide visual aids, then I'm all for that. I'm
providing visual aids, Paul.
You're a scholar.
TFW website here with the information. So apparently,
not sponsored by them, by the way, just so y'all know.
Should I be going to Sabertron again instead, Paul?
I mean, no comment.
So anyway, there was a reveal a couple days ago that Takara Tomy is doing a crossover with Godzilla, and so they're releasing two figures in this line. One is a Mecha Godzilla, which is a redeco of Legacy Laser Optimus Prime in Mecha Godzilla colors. And then there is a Megatron Godzilla, which is a redeco of the Studio Series Grimlock with not a new head, but kind of a new head, I guess. But well, let's see. Get into the photos here. The blurry photos. So this is the little teaser image here, right? Which they look nothing like this. And then here is a tiny photo of the Megatron. So, what do you guys think? I know the chat's hot and heavy already about these. I think, Paul, you've been defending this a little bit, and you've been saying that everyone's gonna be snoozing on this, and this is gonna be worth like $8 billion or something.
Well, no, as far as I know, like maybe the entire brand since 1984 is worth $8 billion. So, no, not that much. But I mean, I kind of want to give. You want me to give the counterpoint before we've had the point of everyone saying how much it sucks?
Well, people said it sucks. So why don't you tell us why it doesn't suck, and then I'll give plenty of evidence of why it does suck.
I mean, there's definitely some better choices that could have been made here. I mean, let's be honest. It's a bit strange that it's a weak crossover. Like, if you're a Godzilla fan, you're not stoked about this at all.
Right.
Because it doesn't look like Godzilla. I mean, there's no remolding in the spots you would expect if it was Godzilla. The only thing that's really there is like they plastered a logo on it, which is sort of bizarre. It's got a Godzilla logo, yeah. They have like art and stuff, but it doesn't, like, if you looked at this, you wouldn't think Godzilla at all. Either of them.
Oh no, not at all.
And I think it's not passing the sniff test for people immediately.
Well, so here's the thing for me, almost is the fact that it's like why are they making it a Megatron?
I guess so they can fight, but it's bizarre. It's almost like wackadoo, because why wouldn't you make the Mecha Godzilla the Grimlock? Because it makes like almost perfect sense in that. Although then it would still just be like, it'd be a bright silver. It'd have to be a highly painted Grimlock, but like you could do some minor remolding and it would look really cool. It'd be like Mecha Godzilla turned into a robot, but instead they made it Optimus Prime in that mold that we really don't like. And it's also a very specific version of Mecha Godzilla with like the blue cannons on his shoulders, and that's why when it turns into the truck, it has like the blue deco on the front of the truck over the shoulders.
Well, here I'm not showing that one. Let me go to the Optimus Prime Mecha Godzilla here.
If you go in the thread, I bet you'll see the picture of the. I mean, I haven't looked through the thread, but I'm assuming someone is like, "Look, here's I know," and they posted the thing. But let
me ask you guys a question.
That's the reference.
How long did it take you looking at these to realize that the G2 Laser Optimus redeco was supposed to be Mechagodzilla?
I had no idea until like reading the blurb. I would have never picked it out.
I had zero. Yeah. I didn't know at all. I just thought, it's a weird Godzilla. Name. It's a weird like battle, like someone to fight Godzilla. That's all I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know the Japanese names of all this stuff. So like Kairui didn't mean anything to me. As Zaldron just posted, that's what he's called. And yeah, I looked it up. I'm like, that's Mecha Godzilla. So this Prime is supposed to be, or is an homage to Mecha Godzilla. Like it feels the Prime especially just is like, did you just give this to an intern and have him do it?
I think that's a little below the belt. I think they spent some time on this. They just kind of like, it's Japan. They do some things that just don't make sense to us. And but what I wish we used to have a cast member that was in Asia. I'd love to hear his take on this. But I know Swifty, like our in the Discord, is not about. He hates this. You know, he thinks it's dumb, and he is a major Godzilla fan, also an American. So,
Yeah.
you know, if he's not into it, that's not a great sign.
Well, I know Rick also is a Godzilla fan too, and he also has been incredibly disappointed in this.
Where does Matthew Broderick sit in?
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit it's weird, okay? But when the dust settles and this is out and everyone poo-poos it and doesn't get it, and a few years go by, that's when the blood starts getting in the water, because this is a unique deco of Optimus Prime as a relatively solid toy. Debate, I don't know, but
It's an interesting deco. I don't think the deco looks bad. It's just the deco does not spark anything to me of Mechagodzilla. Like we've seen repaints of like a Prime before, and they do it, and I think these have been KOs, but we've seen like Evangelion colored Primes, and granted, it looks nothing like the Evangelion mech or whatever the angel. No, are they the angels? What are they? Is the robot?
oh, stop talking.
The Avas.
There you
Sorry, they don't look nothing like the Avas, but the color is so distinctive that we all knew what it's trying to homage. This does not do that for me. Maybe Kairui in Japan is more recognizable and it works better there. But yeah, this does nothing.
Yeah, it's like the deco over the form factor. Like yeah, it's the Mechagodzilla color scheme. He's all silver. That's what he is. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to tell if it is silver though, or if it's just like drab gray from the photos we've got. So I would hope that they lathered at least the chest plate in silver. That part is usually painted. So, but you know, here's a weird ass Optimus Prime.
Well, one thing I was gonna say is I'm actually somewhat interested in that Laser Prime. Like, I always like that mold. You know, I have the repaints of the original mold. I have all the repaints of the new one. They've already done a couple like weird ones. So that actually somewhat interests me. Have they actually released a price point on this?
I don't think so yet, but I would expect around $60 to $80 in the yen equivalent, which means it's less than that for us. But it'll probably be on Hasbro Pulse, meaning that's what we'll get whatever the American price is, which I imagine it will be liter plus, you know.
I would say a little bit higher because we've seen the Takara Voyagers come in at like $50 on Pulse. So I'm thinking the ballpark of like
which
75
one?
to 100.
Well, yeah, one's a Voyager and one's a leader, so but
aren't they both?
No, they're both leaders. They're both leaders.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. They are both leaders.
Silly goose. The other thing is, are they sold separately or is it a set? We don't really know that yet.
Right.
If it's a set, then it gets even wilder, I think, because then you can't just cherry pick the one you want, because I think the Prime is definitely the weaker of the two. But again, it's a weird colored Optimus Prime, and ironically, once everyone's pissed off and is pissed about something else later, as soon as they forget this exists, things start to change, things start to shift.
But I don't know, like, I feel like there's a few of these like that they've done in the past that's, just sat at BBTAS or wherever. Like, again, we mentioned Bump of Chicken before. Like, you can still easily get that for under, whatever they release the retail.
Well, can you? Well, maybe not after today.
On eBay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
like,
not after today.
I haven't checked, especially recently.
I'm gonna go check, because if they're cheap, I'm buying.
Yeah, go check eBay or whatever, because I don't think those ones ever like went up that much. But like, I mean, I do think in general, like the Takara ones, like I feel like, especially these mainline releases, that Takara will do a release and then they'll be done with it. Whereas, there's times where Hasbro will do a re-release and, kind of keep the price down. So a lot of times these Japanese ones or whatever, especially over here in America, it is like, they do sell out and then they go up in value.
You're right. There's quite a few bump of chickens on eBay for like, after I buy this one, they will be all over $60.
But that's a decrease from when that toy first came out.
Oh, yes, it is. It is, for sure.
And then what was the other Takara crossover? The Fort Max head that was the sort of like comedy, show reference that was sort of the kind of racist Asian stereotype face.
Yeah, it was like it was a comedy show in Asia that they they made a weird molded face on of for Fort Max, and it was like bright white and light blue. It was just a very strange thing.
Yeah,
if it had just like the regular Fort Max face, like those colors would look cool. But that was a really odd kind of combo.
Denny in the chat says that he does agree with you, Paul, that he thinks that this is going to crash so hard initially and no one's going to buy it, that it'll end up being rare down the road.
Yes.
And then people want to pick it up.
It's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be immediate. If you collect Optimus Prime or Megatron or Grimlock or are into Godzilla weird stuff, you better just get this or you're gonna be crying later, because I don't think the orders are gonna be huge. It's gonna underperform, and that's the perfect storm for aftermarket madness. And it might, 2 years from now, you might be like, oh, look at that, it's still not worth anything. Maybe, but then year 3, it might be a totally different story.
Right.
That's a long time. That's a long time to wait.
Right.
But whatever.
Right.
But I'm just saying, you see it all the time, and this has all the makings of a snooze and lose item. And I want that Grimlock that Megatron toy. I think that looks awesome. I don't care that it's not really Godzilla. It has the blue plastic thing in his neck, so I think that's like as close as it gets. But I also liked it a lot more before I realized the face was not really a Megatron face. That's concerning to me.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, again, that people were talking about this being a lazy repaint. And I didn't pick up on this originally, and Anna immediately, because, she's just like very dialed in with faces. She's like, why did they use Sludge's face or Sludge's head with this? And we're like, what are you talking about? Slag. It's Slag's head, right?
Sludge.
It's neither of them. It's a new face, but it looks a lot like Sludge. They didn't take the Sludge head and put it onto this toy. That is not what happened. It's a completely different mold, but it looks almost exactly the same. It looks like they shaved off the ears or something.
Right. Yeah, because it has the little like crown piece or whatever in the front.
Can you change to that image, just so?
Oh, of the like head itself. Where's that at?
Well, just of the Megatron, I guess, since you're on the page still.
Yeah, let me.
And I'm looking at it in retro, so on the YouTube channel, so we're not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it is. I don't know if you.
Anytime you make a character black, it's cool. It just is. And
I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't know. This kind of looks neat. I've seen people do, photoshopped of like, hey, if you just add the spikes, how much better does it look? But it just feels just so weird. It doesn't feel at all like Godzilla. Like this is like, for the modern folks, this is Godzilla. Got the little bitty head here. He's got the big spikes. That Grimlock doesn't look like it. We got, going back a little bit. This is Godzilla. Again, spikes. We got the little like kind of cat nose there. Grimlock doesn't look like that. We got, another version of Godzilla. We got some energy effects going, and that blue doesn't match. That's not what we got from that. Even this crazy Shin thing is a Godzilla. And guess what? This is not Godzilla. This is not a Godzilla. This is a Godzilla. This is not a Godzilla. Godzilla, not Godzilla. Godzilla, not Godzilla. So yeah, that would be like, what this movie reminded me of is if they like slightly added more yellow and white onto Optimus Prime instead of a Gundam Optimus.
That would sell. That would sell like crazy. That would sell like crazy.
It just feels lazy. The quote of, or the commentary of this being lazy to me feels very apt.
Sure, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying it doesn't matter because this is a Megatron that is large and in charge and looks pretty good to me. I like it's instead of gender bending. I like it when they like slap a character name on these other characters and do a little bit to make it look like it, and that's enough for me with this. So this is definitely going in my Megatron collection, and I don't think I'm alone. I also think it could go in your Grimlock collection very, very easily. And if you're an Optimus collector, you're gonna like there hasn't been a weirder Optimus in quite a while that I can think of. I don't have because I'm just now thinking very, very hard. But I mean,
you don't think the Target Optimus is weird?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, but it's not as weird as this one.
Yeah,
it's not as weird as this one. I mean these are oddities.
Come with a Target mascot dog out of Ravage.
Well, nope. I think it's really funny to me that everyone is like thinks this is the like lazy redeco or whatever from Takara because Hasbro does such a good job redecoing their crossovers that Takara can't compete. Like, what kind of weird world do we live in that that's the case? But like, I mean, you just look at the ones they've done or whatever, like Ectotron, and I mean, shoot, the like recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one that they did, right? Like, I mean, just all these different ones down the line where they have done like brand new figures in a lot of cases, right? Or they've been significant remolds from the original figure where they use something as a base or whatever, and it like the car mode of the Back to the Future one, right? Like, I mean, of all these ones really do a really good job of imagining the car or whatever. I think that's the thing that's like kind of disappointing is that it's not like this looks at all like Godzilla. Like, if you had this on your shelf next to your Godzilla, you'd be like, what's that doing next to it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think this is for Godzilla fans. I mean, this is for, it's heavily, if there's a meter and like in the middle is like the perfect meld between Transformers and Godzilla, it is far on the Transformers side as far as cohesion. And it seems like, and don't Takara is involved with all those crossovers. They're the ones making it work. But I think because of licensing and stuff, they can't sell those things in Japan yet. Maybe that'll change. And obviously the corporate culture or the methodology of Hasbro doing these collaboratives is totally different than what Japan does and always has been. Let's think back to like the shoe Transformers. Mm-hmm. That was back before Brand Unity. We're coming out of Brand Unity right now, and that's why this weird Takara is kind of getting to do what they want. They're kind of like, gone wild. And this is the stuff we're getting, which is maybe they just don't have the bandwidth to do what the Hasbro side is doing because they're spending all the creativity and effort making stuff like the Knight Rider toy, and they're brand new. These are brand new molds that didn't exist before and don't seem to percolate into the main toy line. And so maybe as a concession, Takara's is getting started with their own collaborative, and this is like the best they can do in the time that they have allotted. I don't know. They could do better than this, but I just don't. I always say there's deadlines. Did they want to push this out another year and a half? No, they wanted to get it out now to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Transformers and the 70th anniversary of Godzilla. And so maybe they had 2 weeks to put this shit together. I don't know, but I'm trying to give some reason behind the laziness, because these companies aren't completely lazy, all right? They can do some cool stuff.
Right.
This is not the coolest thing they've ever done.
I do love
but
Ron's
I still want
comment. Just be happy that we got a new Megatron that wasn't that goddamn siege mold.
Look on the bright side.
Lucas, you and I read that at the same moment, because I looked up and I saw you laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great comment.
And maybe this isn't the end. Maybe it's not one and done. I mean,
yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, I will say those molds are cool. Like I do love that 86 Grimlock. Like that is a neat mold, and if you're like mold collecting that, you gotta have this type of thing. So, but yeah, no, I would be curious to see what the, what the response is in Asia, because it seems like it is universally, like, disliked over. Like I haven't seen one person that's like, wow, this is cool. Like I think everyone's I think everyone is kind of mid on it, right?
I mean, I'm telling you, I'm buying that thing as soon as possible. So I mean,
right, but there's a difference between
let's
buying it and being happy about it.
Exactly.
I'm still happy with it. Like all
right.
I'm not. Okay. Like, I love Godzilla too, but I'm not like a purist by any means. Like I can still live with. I think I'm in the minority for sure. I'm not saying everybody that thinks it sucks is wrong, but I think it's definitely a viable figure.
Let's just put this out here, Paul. None of us middle-aged white men are in a minority. So for like anything.
So I do want to point out I actually got a pretty neat exclusive just today. In fact, in the mail, and I've been showing it on camera the whole time. I don't know if you happen to notice this or not. But when there's exclusives that get more love and care and imagination in them than what Takara is putting into to these things with this small exclusive here, and with this amazing box. Pretty cool box here too. So, but yeah,
what's
I
that?
Don't know.
11 of 24. What does that mean?
I don't know. Apparently, there's only 24. I'm guessing.
It's usually
I'm not sure, but yeah, what is this?
It's usually what that means, yeah.
But
it's a strong ball.
Strong bull. Yes, strong bull. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Number
what's
one.
Yours, Lucas? Yeah.
Whoa, that is some flexing.
But yeah, so that's what I'm saying is that somehow we can have a another exclusive that a lot more thought and care was put into, I feel like, than what this was.
And Paul, Lucas just reminded me of something from this weekend that is another weird Optimus. The Lunar Cruiser Prime.
There we go. Yes, that's a crossover. That's a Japanese crossover.
Yeah.
There's been a lot. There's so many that we can't even register them anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like this one, like you guys reviewed it. I wasn't on the episode when you guys reviewed it. But, like you guys, the cast members that reviewed it were pretty high opinion of this figure.
Yep.
So
I haven't opened it yet. So
what's your thoughts on it, Phil?
Waiting in the wings.
I'm literally opening it as we speak. So I don't know. I've been kind of like, on the fence about getting it. Mm-hmm. And then got it for a little raffle prize this weekend, and was very pleased with that because I've been looking to get this dude.
What relation does this have to what Lucas was showing, though, Phil?
So this was also from this past weekend's little get together called PFCon. For those who aren't aware, the P in PFCon stands for Paul, you can guess what the F stands for. Yeah. So it's one of those deals where that was the exclusive, and then there was some little raffle prizes, and I got this in a little raffle, so I'm popping them open as we speak. But yeah, this is
Sick.
and I guess to me, like this
I'm
Lunar Prime,
jealous.
yeah, the Lunar Cruiser Prime, like to me makes it even more so of the kind of slap in the face of these Godzilla exclusives, because this is such like a unique toy. Like, there's no like reuse of parts on this, right? There's I don't know what they could have reused. So the fact that we did get this, I mean, there was kind of, you guys mentioned it, and Zaldron brought up again the licensing thing. Like Toho could be kind of weird about using the Godzilla likeness and stuff. So maybe that's why they're not getting a more accurate Godzilla out of this. But
I think it's just timing, because they might have quickly realized, holy shit, the anniversaries line up 40 and 70, and like then they had to they had to get together and agree to do something, and like how quickly can we put something together?
Yeah. Boy, this is a little smaller than I thought.
I'm trying to throw him a bone. All right.
Throw me a freaking bone here.
Here's something, Lucas. This is 101.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Shattered glass. Blockies, Grimlock. No one wanted to make it in the custom class. I didn't want to, because it would have taken all day. But here's another one that you missed.
Nice.
He's all dressed up. Just like Baller.
So is there like a whole set of those?
No.
Not yet.
Just a couple?
It's dapper. See those white legs? The dye bled into that paint, so it's not so white. Okay, we don't need to talk about that.
All right, yeah, but anyway, so and then the other thing is we're almost thinking that we should like redo the topic for this episode, because like literally right before we started, there's all this news, hot and heavy, that I don't know if there's like a convention or something like that going on in Japan.
I think it's Tokyo Toy Show or something like that.
Oh, okay, is it? So they, I guess, Takara's got some releases going with that. So they have a MPG God Bomber, God Genrai, right? Sounds like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It looks huge. It looks enormous.
It looks very oddly proportioned.
I mean, it's maybe not as big as I'm saying, but like it just, when you look at it next to it's got the big gun on it, and the arms are really bulky, and it's all meant to latch on to Jinrai, and they're next to each other, and it just, they're the same height. Actually, Jinrai's a little bigger, but it just looks like it dwarfs him in the initial photo.
Like Jinrai is more like a average size dude, and God Bomber is like a bodybuilder, but they're the same height.
Yeah, I wish they'd show it in. There's like an advertisement showing the truck mode, and I mean it looks like how the truck mode should look.
But they don't have any pictures of like the combined of the two, correct?
Oh, there is one. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like. Excuse me. It's weird. The some of the parts are like blacked out, which is strange, but unless that's how they're gonna look, I don't know. But it's there. It definitely makes the Jinrai look a lot better, because everyone was like, "What? The feet? There's no feet." But now there's feet. Yeah, it's a big boy. MPG 14. 14.
Oh, that's right, because the train bots are some of the other numbers there. The redeco train, the train bots and the redeco train bots.
Here, we'll see.
Well,
I'll show off some of the stuff.
It's Ironhide and the red hoist too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they had MPG God Bomber and God Genrai, And then there's also the dramatic capture Decepticon set with Astrotrain, Starscream, and Blitzwing.
Yeah, which is cool. And it looks like there's some new, like Astrotrain has, are those new guns? I can't even tell. They're probably not. They're probably the same as the. It looks like he doesn't come with
got rid of the space mud, pretty much.
Well, and they got rid of the caboose, which looks
that's
good.
True.
And then Blitzwing doesn't
a little more
seem...
lavender.
Yeah, they're definitely redecoed, but it looks like the Blitzwing doesn't have the fists.
Oh
Right.
no!
Like, why would you need?
Oh
those?
no! Well, yeah, they got rid of the dumb shit, and
Right.
but then then Starscream has got the cape. He's like Coronation Starscream, which is sort of weird because they already released that. But I get, the deco must be slightly different. It looks a little anime. That's going to be expensive because that's 2 liters in a Voyager. Or maybe they'll, without that extra crap, maybe they'll count the other ones as Voyagers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The last set wasn't too bad.
Well, it's like 80, $90, right? And this one,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're all
sold out.
These were all released as liters, so that should be $150. But hopefully
Right.
it's like,
Well,
a lot less.
Starscream doesn't have the throne there, does he?
No, which that's where I think a bulk of the
Plastic cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jinrai's proportions are so just kind of bizarre with that giant cannon. The way it's like, it's not like next to his head, like on his shoulder. It's just like so big and like mounted high up that it's just like, if you just were like walking around with a cannon like up here, it's just sort of floating there above his shoulder and his skull.
Oh crap! He comes with little Minerva and Go Shooter and whoever else, the little guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow!
I don't know if they looks like they're just on little stands. They probably don't do much.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how the United set came, right? When it had the
Headmasters.
Titan Masters.
Yeah, Titan Masters. I mean, that was a pricey set, but then you could sell those Titan Masters separately and recoup a lot of that cost.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Well, and then I guess in the background too, they're showing off the what's the toy Bumblebee called?
Missing Link.
Missing Link, yeah, Missing Link Bumblebee's there in the background too.
Yeah, and Cliff.
And I hope they start releasing those missing links more than one a year.
Right.
So this is weird.
Oh,
They are selling, I guess this isn't necessarily a crossover, right? But now Japan has got a hold of that Volvo Optimus, and they're releasing the VNR, the red Volvo semi-truck Optimus, which was before now that was a U.S. exclusive. It's not necessarily a crossover, like it wasn't billed as that. It was kind of like a one-off, but it sort of fits in that realm, I'd say. But there's more than what's in these photos. So if you go into boards and news and rumors, the first or second thread, hasn't been news posted yet, shows something very interesting.
Spill the tea here, Paul. What is it?
I apologize. I'm trying to move around here on my computer.
It is the Bump of Chicken Optimus Prime.
Is that where's that
chicken
at?
base?
Like in the thing.
Go up to boards.
Right. I'm like, is it under the
news and rumors?
Right. Oh, do they have a separate thread for it? Here we go.
Bump of Chicken Earthrise Optimus.
Now this one
is wild.
Are you talking about an Optimus Prime that, a crazy looking Optimus Prime here, Paul? Which one are you going to get? The Mecha Godzilla, or are you going to get Bump of Chicken?
I mean, you're going to get them both. But this one It depends how hard this is to get. Because are they going to sell this at Bump of Chicken shows like they did the Bumblebee? Because that's how they sold that one originally.
Yeah, but again, that Bump of Chicken B was not hard to get. Although, again, this is Optimus Prime, so
I mean,
this is just crazy.
They did another run of the Bump of Chicken Bumblebee. That's why it's plentiful at all, because it was not originally. The demand was higher than I think they were expecting.
Got it.
So there was a rerun of that particular figure.
Well, you would think with this that they would anticipate, more interest or whatever, and just do a big run at the beginning. But we'll see.
Was this what the Lincoln Park 100-hour countdown was for? Was the announcement of the Bump of Chicken Prime? No? Okay.
I missed that. I don't know what you mean.
Lincoln Park had like a 100-hour countdown. People thought it was going to be them announcing the new lead singer. And the countdown ended, and they're like, the announcement is there's still more to come. It's like, okay.
In the end, it didn't even matter.
Like the countdown for Oasis.
I don't know. It's like the Geraldo Rivera Al Capone vault thing, where it's like, oh, that was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. So I will say I definitely am probably more interested in this Bump of Chicken Prime than I am the Mecha Godzilla. This looks pretty neat.
It reminds me of the vintage Star Wars toys they had been releasing a little bit over the years, where they would do the colored prototypes, where it was just like, hey, we're gonna make this mold out of whatever plastic colors we had around just to show off the mold. And so you'd get this like jumbled primary color Chewbacca, and that's what this Prime very much reminds me of.
Yeah, it's like a test shot, essentially.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially with the asymmetric colors of the arms.
Mm-hmm.
But the legs aren't asymmetric, so whatever. It's wild. It's for sure wild. But I find it funny that you're all into this, but like on the other Optimus, because it's not as crazy as this, but the stink of it being told it's Godzilla, is enough to poison your mind to sell you that you don't want it.
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, I feel like most of these collaborations, like, they do one and they're not doing more. And so you're like, so I think that if they were doing more Godzilla crossovers, maybe you wouldn't mind as much, but you're like, oh, is this our shot here? Like, this is what we're going to get?
There's been 2 Jurassic Park crossovers.
Yeah, that's true.
There's been 2 Top Gun crossovers, even though most people think it's the same toy. It is not.
I mean, you could say there's been 2 Ectotron Ghostbusters crossovers then.
There have. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Well,
and could you technically say there's 4 Jurassic Park crossover toys? I mean, 2 box sets, but 4 toys.
Yeah.
I mean, products, whatever. Releases, if you will, whatever.
So I am curious too with this whole Bump of Chicken thing, right? Like, how many fans do you think this band has gotten from this crossover, right? Because, like, again, like Denny in the chat was mentioning, he's like, oh, I'm Googling Bump of Chicken or whatever because he has no idea what it is, right? And I thought the same thing when I first heard of it. I'm like, what the hell is this Bump of Chicken or whatever, right? So I just wonder if there's, like, people in Asia, like, and I don't know, maybe it's a band that people in Asia know a little bit better, and so it would be like a Linkin Park, Transformer or whatever as well, like over here, that people know who that is, but it's definitely we don't know.
It must be a big deal if they were selling the toy at the show and it sold out.
Yeah. True.
I mean, they're at stadiums and they just have a merch tent and they had a toy at it instead of just their merchandise. I mean, I don't think they're Taylor Swift level by any means. Or who was the Korean band that was all over? Like, we were forced to think BTS. Was cool. BTS. I don't know if they're on the level of BTS, but I mean, at least in Japan, I think they are culturally significant.
Are they David
I have not
Hasselhoff
listened to
in
anything.
Germany level popular?
Not in America.
Yeah.
Which is why they're going to sell the Knight Rider toy at David Hasselhoff shows in Germany.
What?
The Knight Rider Transformer, that's going to be sold at David Hasselhoff's merch table at his tour in Germany. Did you know that? Agent Knight's going to be sold by. I'm kidding, dude. This is a dumb joke.
I was kind of going along with it. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that David Hasselhoff was currently touring Germany, but good for him that he keeps it going. And
I didn't know
Everybody
HasselCon
knows.
was a big thing.
Everybody knows Germans love David Hasselhoff.
yeah, but who are we the ones to talk about things that are culturally significant, right? Like, you know, it's like, oh, who's this J Balvin fella or whatever, and like, I'm sure all the kids these days are into, you know, whoever, and you're like, oh, so yeah, just because, you know, some 40-year-old white dudes don't know who Bumpa Chicken is.
Dude, if
What
I was working,
Transformers fans like killed his career, just like, oh, these nerds like know who he is now. He's not cool anymore.
Right.
if I had my old job, I would be pushing real hard to get a collab done with Transformers. With whoever famous, if you're working for him, just do it. Like if Jay Balvintron got in, anyone can get in. You know, you can get a My Chemical Romance Optimus Prime, and it would kill.
Sure. Are they coming back now, Paul?
They have been they're making new music.
Are they? Oh, I see. I don't follow.
I mean,
closely.
who cares? But you know, it's happening.
Yeah. So try to relive those younger days.
The problem is, I think every musical group, it's like, oh yeah, we want to be Soundwave. We want Soundwave or Blaster.
Right.
It's like, ugh. At least this Bumpa Chicken stuff is like something a little off the. I mean, it's Optimus Primes and Bumblebees. It's not off the beaten path, but it's at least like not a horde of wild Soundwaves.
Now, that would be awesome if there was a band where they were like huge Transformers nerds and that they did a collaboration so that they could get a figure out, you know, like that it hasn't been released. Like they're like, oh man, we want to do a collaboration with the Omnibots or something, or just whatever, just something that's unreleased.
Like,
Or
yeah, like a G1 reissue, you know?
Right.
Which I guess that's what Jay Balvintron is. Everyone was shitting on Jay Balvintron, but I mean, it's kind of cool. It's a G1 Soundwave. But it's the same thing that Linkin Park did, so it's, you know, not been there, done that.
Right.
Meanwhile, Hasbro's just like, no.
Probably.
I mean
they're doing
the Balvatron Soundwave, like they were doing Soundwave reissues at the time, so that mold was in production. You know, yeah, for them to make a brand new mold and do it, it just seems unlikely.
Well, that's why it's kind of impressive. And someone said this to me recently, like, you need to be paying attention to the collaborative stuff because it's where the real innovation in Transformers is right now. Which, when they said that, I was like, you know, you're kind of right. That's where the new stuff is coming. That's where they're making new molds. They're not beholden to, like, you know, some episode of G1 that you have been shoved down our throats a million times, or like some reference. It's like, that's new, modern Transformer. There's no fiction around it necessarily, but if you're sick of getting the same old molds over and over again, that's where you got to kind of play.
I think now, especially that we're starting to get brand new molds out of the crossover toys, because the early crossover toys were heavy remolds. You know, Ectotron was Hot Spots. Sideswipe became the DeLorean. You know, the X-Wing. I'm sorry, the X-Men Blackbird was from Jetfire from the movie. So, you know, granted, they were heavy retools, but they were still retools. And then you got the Monsters ones, which are pretty modest retools with those. Yeah,
those are the ones I'd say are the least innovative, really.
But some of the coolest packaging, I'll say.
Well, yeah, if you can't get the toy to be awesome, like, might as well do it up. You actually, you have budget at that point.
But
So-
yeah, it is interesting that Takara is doing this show and there's pretty much one new mold being shown off that they hadn't shown off before, right? Like everything else is like repaints essentially.
But isn't that par for the course when Takara would do these things? Is that you get 1 to 2 new reveals? Because they're mainly doing the reveals of the MP stuff. They're not revealing, the new mainline Hasbro kind of stuff. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, to me, this feels like kind of old hat for what we've seen before from Takara.
Yeah, that's only, to me, that's sort of a newer sentiment I've heard from some of the crusties is like, oh, it's all repaints. And I'm like, or like, how many new molds did they even show in this thing? And I'm like, they showed a ton of product, but yeah, it is all redecos and remolds. And I'm like, but isn't that fine? Like, is that not good enough? Like, it's always been that way.
Right.
So I guess it's just old guys getting angry, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. New product is new product, but I mean, I guess I see it through a different lens, so.
Right. Well, it's funny again, like you say, that it's pretty much what they've always done, par for the course, and then you get mad about it now. You're like, okay, that's.
Well, right. It's like the Seekers. They used to bitch like, well, they shouldn't all be exactly the same. They're just repaints. And then in Cybertron, we got 3 different Seekers, and everyone's like, this sucks. Give us all the colors and all the molds.
Right.
And it's like, God. And then you can't please.
Can never please
everybody.
Any of us.
There are some other things to talk about, though. Apparently, Trigger, the animation studio, is doing some sort of thing with the 40th anniversary of Transformers. I don't know if it was just a promo or if it's like they're really going to make a series or something. I don't know if you guys know who that is. The Trigger is like it's a beloved animation studio in Japan that did like Kill the Kill. I think they did that. I'm going to butcher this, but like Panty and Stocking or something, which has had some Transformer kind of crossover stuff. Like there's clearly some fans at that studio, and they actually announced there was some sort of promo video put on Takara Tomi's Twitter, which was it looked well animated at the very least. So I don't know if that what that actually means for stuff to come. But really, there's nothing much to talk about that except go try to find it and watch it, and we'll see what happens. But there were more Transformer crossovers from Japan that we didn't really speak of. And there's one that you said you were interested in, Phil.
Yeah, the Zoid. I was excited when they announced several months back that they were doing some new stuff with Zoids. Didn't expect it to be a Prime Transformer, but the Shield Liger turning into Prime is. I'm stoked for that. That's the Ligers are kind of the for a lot of the Zoid anime that are out there. The Ligers are the protagonist's Zoid mech kind of vehicle, partner, ride, whatever you want to call it. So to see the Shield Liger turn into an Optimus, that's pretty darn neat in my opinion.
I mean, we've seen Optimus turn into a lion, multiple times, so I feel like no one's really complaining about this, but it's very blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't it has the head sculpt, but it doesn't have much else that would make it a Transformer. Although these things don't transform in Zoids, right? They're
No, Zoids don't transform. Zoids are like animal, like Gundams for all intents and purposes. So to me, this is similar to what we've gotten from the G.I. Joe Transformer crossover toys, where the alt mode is identical to what we see, and then the robot mode kind of fits in with however they can make it while still making the alt mode look spot on. Because the Liger looks spot on to the Liger from the pictures that I've seen. And then it turns into an Optimus, and it's got the For all the Lion Optimus toys we've gotten, we haven't gotten a ton where the animal head becomes the chest, which is pretty common with a lot of animal transformers, but not with Leo Prime there, Lyle Prime, Lyle Convoy. He gets a shoulder head.
So do you think this will be a model kit, or do you think it'll come like fully like put together?
Because it transforms, I'm leaning more towards fully put together, but I didn't even consider that it could be a model kit. That's an interesting question.
Well, this is also supposed to be a Diaclone crossover.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, Zoids originated in the 80s is I don't remember if it was a spin-off of Diaclone, similar to how Transformers kind of were, but it kind of came out in that post-Diaclone like wave of stuff that was coming out of Japan or being developed in Japan. But Zoids just kind of went on and did its own thing and never got nearly as popular as Transformers. But it's, again, been around since close to the same time frame as Transformers. And I don't know the ownership history of Zoid, so I don't know if it was like right out of the gate was a Takara thing and was affiliated with that, or if it was like something that was acquired later on. But I used to know more about the Zoids history. But again, Zoids have always been one of those properties that has been like kind of just lurking in the background. Every now and then it gets like a surge in popularity, but never really gains long-term traction and sort of fades away and then reinvents itself. So it's always been sort of second fiddle to Gundam in terms of the model kit stuff. The differentiating with the model kits for Zoids and Gundams is that the Zoids have motorized parts. So you would build a Zoid and it would have like a little wind-up engine, and so it would be walking like Triptychon style, shuffling across the floor kind of thing.
Question for you. Are Zoids the same as robotics from back in the 80s? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think
robotics.
I think that I got to double check it, but I think there is an 80s US property that used Zoid toys in it. I just got to see which one it was, because it wasn't. Who's the one that Nacelle Toys is doing the new figures of? It wasn't that one, but yeah, there were Zoid toys used in a U.S. release toy line back in the 80s. Was it Starriers? I think it was Starriers.
I don't know. I'm probably. If we don't know this, there's no point in harping on it. So there's a few more of these crossovers in this like promo that Takara Tomy put out, which is very similar. All this stuff is under the T-Spark like banner, right, which I still don't really understand like what it is. It's like a level between the company Takara Tomy and what they're selling, whatever. But they're doing a Macross toy, which is weird that to me, that's just so strange that they're crossing it over with Transformers, because it's already a Transformer. The only reason it's not is because it's a piloted mecha versus like a sentient robot. Right. So do you think this is supposedly from Macross 7, which I checked out at that point? It got too Japanese for me and I was too young to get it. So I've never seen Macross 7, but it's a pretty cool looking jet. And this looks like the spitting image of it, but like, is this going to be Jetfire as the weird Valkyrie, or is it going to just be the Valkyrie as a sentient robot? Or I don't know. It's funny that they're just giving you like a silhouette, like they're not giving up the ghost fully. Maybe you guys don't even care, but I like the Macross.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I mean, yeah, the Macross 7 isn't one that I'm familiar with. For me, it's like kind of Macross Plus is where I kind of stopped paying attention to Macross. So I don't know. I'll be cool to see it. But yeah, you're right. The designs get much more spindly at that point. So yeah, it'll be I mean, engineering alone, that figure would be kind of interesting to see.
Again, it's the 30th anniversary of Macross 7, so that's why
It'll just be a repaint of Maverick.
It looks to me like it's all new, so I'm just curious if it will be a
Bolt repaint.
Well, yeah, could it be an aerial bot? That could be cool. Or maybe it's like if it's a red jet, maybe it'd be cool if it's misfire or something, like something kind of out there. Or maybe it'll be like the US collabs and it's like a completely new character that didn't exist before.
Agent Sky.
Red guy. And then apparently there's going to be a Monster Hunter video game crossover with Transformers as well, which all they're showing is the logos.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Like, is it a Monster Hunter game and they just throw some Transformers in it, like how they've done some of these other collaborations, or is it an actual like Transformers branded, like is it like a DLC or something, or?
You have to go hunt down the Transformers Reactivate game.
It'll probably be Shockwave, and they paint him yellow, and they say he's a monster. If it's anything like the Godzilla one, I don't know. I mean, what beast, like what animal Transformers have we gotten recently? I know we've had a lot in Kingdom. We had the Lions.
The Dinobots. We just had the Studio Series Dinobots.
We had all the Dinobots.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the Lions in Legacy.
Transmetal 2 Megatron.
That's right. We had the Dragon. So maybe you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
That could be real. That's a good idea.
Curiouser and curiouser.
But that's about it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have anything else tonight. Is there any other new news we missed out on?
In totally separate news, Daniel Warren Johnson said this weekend in a Reddit AMA that he's only working on the Transformers comic up through issue 24. So we're just about halfway done with his run writing Transformers. So
that wasn't
before?
News. Yeah, we totally knew that before this weekend.
I swear we talked about that before.
Yeah, it's just now today everyone saw the news and actually decided to listen or something. I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't remember ever him officially stating how long he was going to be on the book for. I personally speculated he wouldn't be on for long because he's a dude who writes more miniseries than ongoing books. But I didn't have any actual information or knowledge of it other than just speculation.
I was pretty sure I knew that for a few months, and I don't remember where I caught it, but maybe in the letters section of the book that not everyone reads. I don't know. It just wasn't a surprise to me because I thought it had been stated somewhere or other.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. No, I agree with you, Paul. I can't remember where it was, but I swear that we had talked about that before. Maybe I'm wrong.
Whatever, but who cares? It's the truth. He's going to be off after 24, but as the writer,
right.
So, he's already come off as the illustrator, but he's done the covers going forward, which has been great to have some consistency in the drawings of the covers this far. And I imagine he would probably stop doing that after 24 too, but might come in as a guest cover here and there.
I'm curious if he'll draw another arc of the book. Will he draw the last 6 issues of his run?
Maybe. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But they have a new artist for 13 going forward too.
Right.
Which kind of bummed me out because I thought the other guy was great. I really liked Jorge Corona.
But this is pretty common for a lot of these books these days, where you have rotating sets of artists, so it's minimizes burnout. I mean, we saw that with Transformers, more than meets the eye, where Milne would draw like 6-7 issues, and then they'd have like the next story arc would be drawn by another artist to kind of give Milne a break. So you have that so that the artists don't get behind, so the books don't get delayed.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would imagine. I mean, what you suggested sounds really awesome, but I doubt that's going to happen because he's already doing other books.
Yeah,
doing this like the moon is chasing his shit or whatever. So
yeah,
he got what he needed out of Transformers for sure. He got his awards, and now he's even a bigger superstar. So, hopefully he comes back. I think he's been great for the brand, for the comics. I like the art. I like his sort of whimsical take on some of this stuff. But who will replace him? That's the big thing.
My gut says Kirkman himself, but
that'd be pretty cool.
I was talking to this with Rob the other day, and Rob's like, "No way, it won't be Kirkman." Kirkman, he's like, "Hey, Kirkman wants to be on Void Rivals so that he can have a more unencumbered playground to mess around in, and won't have Hasbro kind of needling him about some things." So I don't know if Hasbro has done that with Daniel Warren Johnson at all, but there's some logic behind that statement on Rob's part.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely had to have meetings,
Yeah.
So, and those probably aren't fun as a creative. You don't want to have meetings. You want to just make your stuff and have everyone love it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, he got away with a lot. I mean, he killed Bumblebee and Jetfire in the first issue. So, it's definitely one of those things where it's not just like, oh, he's got this, very, super paint by numbers, editorial mandated book.
Well, I think it's like the number one book, right? Or it's been the number one book. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing of all time, but it's selling well. So I think that helps Hasbro take their hands off the wheel a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys are doing good. We don't want to fuck this up. Kill that deer. Kill all the deer you want.
Mm-hmm. He wants to walk into the Matrix. Sure. That's the thing now.
So, speaking of comics, the book club is going to be Sunday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on the TF Talk Discord. They actually technically are not doing comics anymore. I think that they are watching episodes of stuffs. So I guess they are going to be watching Beast Wars 2 episodes 5 and 6. So, so if you are interested, join the crew of Book Club Sunday nights at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on the TF Talk Discord. So,
and viewers, that's how you know the show's coming to a close. We're talking about Book Club.
Yeah,
books.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you guys. Yep.
Should people like and subscribe to this podcast?
Absolutely. Smash that like button.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, smash it hard. Tell your friends. Leave a comment.
If I don't see 13 likes in this video from you 13 viewers, I'll be disappointed.
There you go.
Oh, that might be people might want me to be disappointed, so never mind. Lucas will be disappointed and sad.
Hey, we I think we already got a few likes, so just
boom.
Keep that going up. Oh, there we go. Got another one.
Woo!
Yay!
Look at us.
Oh, wait, I can do it myself.
Liking.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Very
guys.
good. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We had a lot of participation this week, and we will see everybody next week.
Don't be snoozing on those Godzillas.